This video is in section 9.5, and as you see at the top, it's to determine whether two vectors are parallel. After this, you're going to watch a video and talk about how to know if they're orthogonal, but we need to start with if they're parallel. So I'd be highlighting or underlining that they are going to be said to be parallel if there is a non-zero, it can't be zero, such that one vector, you can take the scalar times the other vector, and it equals the original. In this case, there's also going to be a part 2 that the angle is either going to be 0 or pi. So the example they give us on example 3, if I'm trying to make it fit this formula, vector v equals some scalar times vector w, my question is, what can I do to vector w over here? I'm sorry, I've already written on it. What can I do to vector w, this horizontal piece 6, what can I multiply it by to make it turn into a 3? And I should be using a darker pen. In other words, what can I multiply my 6 by to make it turn into a 3? And I need half of that. And so why don't I multiply it by half, and it turns into 3. Well, that works for the horizontal part. Let's see if it works for the vertical part. So I'm going to scoot up here. Can I take that same thing, take my vertical part, multiply it by that same scalar, and that gets me a -1. And is that what I need for vector v's vertical part? It is. And so since, to get vector v, I can multiply vector w by 1/2, we will declare these vectors are parallel. So that's one part. But the other part is, okay, yay, they're parallel. But is the angle 0 or is the angle pi? If I go through this formula, looking for my angle between the two vectors, if I look for this, go through the dot product, the magnitudes product, and go through all of this, I find out that my cosine is worth 1. In other words, my theta is the inverse cosine of 1. And the inverse cosine of 1 means that the angle theta between these two is 0. In other words, if my cosine theta equaled -1, then that theta would be pi. So I need to know two parts. How can I declare if it's parallel? And if it is parallel, how to know if my angle is 0 or pi.